Hello, welcome to another episode of This Might Not Work Out podcast. I'm your host TC, and this is episode 25. And today's episode, I'm just going to talk about communication. It's a big thing. It's a big thing for relationships. It's a big thing for people. Communication is everything. Communication is key. And it's so interesting to me because I've been with my husband now for 21 years. We've been together, 16 married. And it's so interesting to me how, with the area or idea or context of communication, how we still have to spend so much time working on it. It's interesting to me that both of us have spent more time with each other than we spent with our respective nuclear families or our people that we've started with from day one. And so one would think, after 21 years together and just being around each other all the time, that there's nuance or there's just understanding that we have that has been hashed out or worked through. And there is, trust me. We have definitely come a long way in terms of our communication, but it's crazy how even with a relationship that's that long, you still have to work on it all the time. And that's true for people who have been married for 50, 60 years. You still have to work on it. But then it's interesting to me because in terms of girlfriends or women or female friends that I have, we can get together and talk for hours and hours and hours. And when I say hours, I mean hours. There have been many a restaurant where they were like, look, we're closing up. Yeah, it's about that time. I mean, I've 4 hours, 5 hours. I think the longest has been 9 hours, and I think I've done that maybe 3 times. I'm just talking with different friends. Of course, we go from restaurant to restaurant, so we're not at one place for 9 hours, but I can definitely talk for 9 hours, trust me. But it's interesting how with friends, it's a little different. And one of my girlfriends said just last week we went out, and she was like, the difference is it's a whole different relationship. I'll just keep it PC like that. She said there's an element of it that we do with our husbands or men and women do that's not the same with girlfriends, which is true. But it's interesting how that component would change the communication part. I don't know. I mean, I know that we think different thoughts and our love languages are different and all that good stuff. So that may play into it, but the reality is it's just interesting to me how you can be with someone for such a long time and still have to work on communication deficits or needs. And so I wanted to know, how do you all feel about that? In order to have a healthy relationship, of course, communication is key. And so we try to foster that. But I just wonder about that in terms of how men and women characterize their need to express themselves, because it's not always even about talking either, but their need to express themselves or have themselves be understood. All that stuff comes into play. And so it's just interesting to me, the dynamic. There's a quote from Talib Kweli. I'm going to say the wrong song, so I don't want to get it wrong. But he says in one of his songs, women thrive on emotions men refuse to acknowledge. And I love that because that is so accurate, that we need to talk through things and figure things out and discuss things and all that good stuff while